Yeah, man. Okay, yeah, man. All right. So, this is Kevin Christian. Today is the 17th of October, 2021, and I want to give you some advice. Okay, if you're being gang stalked, if you're being gang stalked, like full blown gang stalk, artificial telepathy, the whole thing, um, because there's different levels to the way that they'll target people. Typically, let me tell you how it begins. Okay, typically it begins with like weird stuff happening, like people following you around. And so you don't really know what's going on, but you start noticing that people are following you and it's like freaking you out. So um, you start to have different reactions to that. And so, that could be pretty disturbing to have people you never seen following you around. And the way that that happens is that they put you on public. Whoever has your neural monitoring. In my case, I know who has possession of and ownership over my neural monitoring. She's like a slave trading human trafficker. Okay, it's done this to a bunch of people. All right, but hey, hello. Um, so that's how typically what happened in the beginning, and then there's not a set thing on why they'll start to target you completely. Um, in my case, I knew the people who I was dealing with in the first place, but then they'll put me on public, and it was just be this thing where it's like I'm getting followed around by people I've never heard of. All right, and there was one situation. Let me tell you about this. A little story. Story time. There was this one situation, okay, where I had anywhere from like 6 to 10 different cars follow me around. And the girl that has possession of my neural monitoring was on artificial telepathy, and I'm freaked out, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And this was back in like 2014 or something, and I'm 15. I think it was at 15. I'm like, what's going on? Like, do they know? Do they know? Hey, how are you? What's going on? I appreciate all you guys commenting and watching my videos. Really, it's I never could have imagined that I would have so many people paying attention to me talking about this. But I do know what I'm talking about. I promise. I'm not lying about any of it. I promise I know how this stuff works. But so this girl's on my channel, and I'm like, can they can they follow me? Like, can they find me? If I turn on my phone, or like what's going on? And she used to say little stuff to me, and it was like one time I had this note in my pocket. I wrote this note. I was like, such, they're trying to kill me and blah, blah, blah. And I put the note in my pocket in case something happened. Because that's how I felt about like what was going on. And um, she said, if you read it, they can see it. Right? And it was just a thing to mess with me. Over artificial telepathy, she said that to me. And good, good. So, I was like trying to figure out what was going on. But the whole thing really had me mind blown. Um, but one of the biggest deals, um, these this is important. Okay, this is very very important. Um, you know, if you want to hit me up off public stuff, I could talk to you about things like that. But I've learned over time, like you can't come out, and you can on certain things, like to certain degrees. Like you're allowed to talk about things or whatever, but I've ran into a lot of problems over the years where I've ended up in a courtroom situations of like 10 times probably about my YouTube videos. So I try really hard not to say people's names or any personal information, and I would urge you guys to probably do the same, and say what's going on and document everything that you can. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you don't drag yourself into any trouble. And what you want to do is build a situation. Look, I just hear one of these Howard Circle idiots doing a what you laughing at? Tell the world. Howard Circle, Jonesboro, Georgia. Filthy with gang stalkers. Filthy with gang stalkers. And if you think I won't say their name, think again. think again, bro, because it's a lot of leverage. See, if I couldn't say their name, I wouldn't have got away with it 1,000 times already. Okay, so um, it's a thing where you got to measure your own leverage, and it's probably not the most legal thing to try to get away with. But when you got gang stalkers that are doing a bunch of torture and trying to ruin your life and attempted murder and all kinds of other things, like what are they going to do? Run to the courthouse? They've been hacking your everything. You filed 25 police reports against them. They're going to run to the courthouse and file something against you? I don't think so. I really don't. So I mean, you gotta you. I do things that are probably not the best things to do because I have leverage, and that's one of the things that's a big deal, right? Because look, if I tell you these people are attacking me, these people are doing this and that, and I say it, then I know they could probably go file something against me, but I know they won't because they're guilty. And they don't want to open up that can, just like the Clayton County Police Department doesn't want to open up that can because that leads to some federal stuff and that leads to a whole bunch of mind control revolution. All right, and probably the end of civilization as we know it, what it really is. So keep popping off, moron. You're stupid. You're too stupid to be on my channel. You can hear them. You can literally hear them responding to me, right? Howard Circle, Jonesboro, Georgia. These idiots, right? And that's not the person that you said. Um, so um, talking now, that's not the person that you said, but that is this family from Howard Circle that has access to neural monitoring and uses it for terrorism and slavery, and they are domestic terrorists. These people are domestic terrorists. Right? And that's why I do everything I can to try to take a legal approach. All right, because it's not going to help us to make like some sort of attack force or something like that. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? But right now, um, they think they can do whatever they want to. They think they can do whatever they want to and get away with it, and they're empowered because they've been able to do that. All right, but let me get back to the subject. Let me get back to the subject while we having a little shouting match. Gang stalker to attempted murder victim and terrorism victim and how you love to try to destroy people's life and you think it's so funny, right? While you yelling through the woods I'm on a live video. What kind of idiots? That's how empowered they are. That's how empowered these gang stalking terrorists are. They're that empowered to be yelling stuff through the woods at me, right? While I'm on a live video talking about it. So, but let me get back to the title. All right, so I can stay on subject. Artificial telepathy. All right, it's very important. All right, take this as the one of the most important things I'll tell you. All right, when you hear something, they wanted you to hear it. Okay, unless you've used some sort of um, unless you've used some sort of special method or technique. Okay, and in that case, like for example, when I would use like a call record app and call myself, all right, it's me with a phone calling myself with another phone. Yeah, I'm out here doing my thing too, right? So it's me with myself calling myself with another phone, and then I'll just sit there and be quiet, right? The signal's coming to me. The signal, not a sound wave, it's a signal. Artificial telepathy from neural monitoring is satellite broadcast, EMF broadcast. It's a signal, right? So it's coming to me. Cellular is also a microwave signal. So what happens is it picks it up as interference. So some of these people that I know are involved with my stuff that I already knew and then got hard, solid evidence. Okay, because I could record them by me picking up my home phone, my personal home phone in my house, calling my personal cell phone in my other hand, and being quiet and picking up people talking 10 miles away that are gang stalkers that are connected to me on neural monitoring, okay? and that are not even talking to me out loud with artificial telepathy. And I pick them up, okay, and I know, so that lets me know they're on my channel, they're broadcasting to me because they're receiving me, and it's a two-way connection, and that's how it works. That in itself should be enough to go and arrest them, charge them with some kind of terrorism crime, and put them in Guantanamo Bay for the rest of their life to rot and die there. That's what it should be. All right, so I'll be pushing for it. Believe that I'll be pushing for it. But anyway, if you hear them, like if you're dealing with gang stalkers that talk to you out loud, where you hear it out loud with artificial telepathy, because there's a difference between the people on your channel that you don't hear that you might intercept with some kind of method like that, which I have on many occasions. Beyond a doubt, you can hear who it is. You can tell what they're saying. I got them right there. I got them. All right. I don't know what's the holdup on arresting these terrorists. What's the holdup? How are you free? So if they're talking to you out loud, which is a difference, all right? Artificial telepathy, you hear it out loud, where you're like, where's that coming from? Like you're looking for the speaker embedded into your wall socket or something, right? So that's artificial telepathy. They can make it sound like something's they can make they can make it sound like somebody's running across your roof. They can make it sound like a car door just shut outside. They want you to peep out the window so you look like a crackhead. So they keep posting you peeping out the window, right? Look at him, sketchy, Jay, junkie, right there. Mind control junkies is what they are. Most of these gang stalkers are methamphetamine addicts. The gang stalkers that I deal with, a large group of them. Okay, many of the large group are involved with methamphetamines and GHB manufacturing, distribution, and they're junkies. They're literally drug addict junkies. Okay, so I swear to God, they are. Some of them, like forever, for like as long as there's been a such thing. They've been doing these drugs since before they even were called what they're called now. Okay, so some of these people are long term, lifelong junkies, and that's the type of people that you're really up against that have access to neural monitoring that become gang stalkers. So you're not dealing with cool people. I know some cool people that have access to neural monitoring. I don't know why they don't help more people. Maybe they do. I don't know. My situation is probably circumstantial, really. My situation's probably got a whole lot of flags on it, because of my position, because of what I do, because of how I come out with all of this stuff. Just be quiet. Just shh, shh. They're not smart people. You're not dealing with smart people. You're not dealing with intelligent people. You're dealing with junkies that got access to neural monitoring. They use it to make sure the police ain't going to raid them. They use it to terrorize people and destroy people's lives. These are the type of people that need to be in prison for the rest of their life or capital punishment because society is better without them and they are parasites. Okay. Finally, I'll get to the point. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me get to the point. If they're talking to you with artificial telepathy out loud, where you hear it out loud, you hear what they want you to hear. Okay. And 100% of the time, it is to benefit their gang stalking of you. Okay? A lot of people get a misconception. Oh, I think some of them are trying to help me. Right? And there might be one that's saying one thing and the other one will be like disagreeing and saying the opposed thing. Right? They want to give you the good cop, bad cop thing or whatever. Right? And it's just to give you a psychological nightmare. That's all it is. If you hear them talking to you, they want you to hear it, and it is something that has been planned out. These people have an intent. They have a very well planned out intention to try to destroy your life. That is their intention. And if you become successful, if you learn all of the things that are necessary to become somebody that they can't do this to, you're so dangerous to them because the things that they've been doing are things that are going to have them in prison for the rest of their life, or things that are going to get them dumped in the middle of the ocean by the CIA because they don't want to come out with this stuff because they know. Okay? Worldwide, governments will be overthrown. The mind control revolution will change society completely. It will not be about uh, black people or white people or Chinese people or nothing like that. It won't be about anything. It'll be about how people's minds work and how they like to be connected to other people. And you'll start to have different hives, different hive minds where everybody's connected, right? And then sometimes they put somebody on my channel that like the feeling of it, the connection, it makes me want to puke. All right, it's like an allergic reaction, and it's not cool at all. It's not cool at all. So when they put somebody on your channel like that, you start to know these things. Like they put some people on my channel, but they won't do it anymore. It's like they have before, okay? But there's been people that come on my channel, and I'm like, oh, we vibing. Like I know you're a gang stalker, but like but you for real. Like I could see like you know but that not the ones that torture, not the ones that attack your body, not the ones that every 10 seconds they go, hey, hey, oh, want to say something to try to throw you in the wrong direction. The Marcuses, the Howard Circle Marcuses of the world, terrorists, losers, they got nothing going. The guy Stain, birthing yak. That's what I call him. He sounds like you know how you like if you have really like if you really don't take care of yourself, right? How you might have like blockages in your heart, right? He sounds like he's got a blockage in his throat. I'm gonna have to talk, but I'm gonna be a gang stalker, and I'm birthing yak, just like that. A yak was born. So that's what I wanted to tell you. This whole video, right? This is what I wanted to tell you that don't listen to what they're saying to you. There's not one that wants to help you. It's all to deceive you. Gain your trust to destroy you. Build you up to tear you down. They want to destroy you because if they don't, if you succeed, then they are destroyed. And they've taken this position. This is the position that they've taken. Okay? So don't listen to what they say. They don't want to help you. If you're still confused thinking that they want to help you, give it some time. Okay? A year from now, you'll start to realize that they don't want to help you. 2013 is when I first noticed the hacking. 2014, I started having some gang stalking and some artificial telepathy, but not full time. 2015, a whole bunch of weird stuff was going on. And then by the end of 15, going into 16, it was full blown artificial telepathy 24/7 with idiots like this family from Howard Circle that won't get off my channel ever. They're on 24/7. There's about five of them that stay on most of the time. About three of them stay on full time. And there's a couple that come on and off. But, so from 13 to now, you're talking about 8 years. And from it, it is like a very bad dream. They can have a lot of influence on your dreams. Let me tell you this too, just to throw some information out there, off subject. But um, when they put on the mind control on their head, and the wires come down to the little wristband, they call them stabilizers. Right? So what you're dealing with is a broadcast. It's coming out of the sky, and it's very powerful. The more powerful it is, like the more they can do with it. And so this headset and everything, it acts as a distribution system, and it can amplify. And it can really act as a distribution system, so they can turn the broadcast up very high without causing like physical body damage, like stuff they do to us. Right, so they're doing some of that type of stuff to them, broadcasting and putting the headset on, and it distributes the waves around their body, and they'll put that thing, the little glass tube thing, in their mouth. And I didn't never know why. And then one day they turn on the broadcast. I could feel it running over my head, like running down my face and everywhere. I could just feel broadcast like running over me. And they're like, "Broadcast with us, Kevin." And all of a sudden, it just jumped into my mouth and shocked my tongue. And I was like, "Ah." And this one guy said he was a broadcast. He was a hologram broadcast. He says that's why they wear the mouthpieces, Kevin. And then I knew. And they give you little tidbits like that. They give you some little insights sometimes. But um, where was I going with that? Um, I for, I forget what I was talking about really. So, um, but yeah, that's still a little bit of information, a little bit of insight into what's really going on. But they never want you to really know, and it's always supposed to be to confuse you. And they really are evil people. And don't try to beat yourself up about trying to understand it because you're not going to. If you're not an evil person, which is probably why they won't give you neural monitoring, because they give it to people that they know are safe to give it to. And the people that might ruin their way of life, they won't give it to them. Of course they wouldn't, especially if they've been targeting you with torture and doing things to you physically, and they don't have much going for their life. They're not that cool. They're not cool people. Um, some of the people that have neural monitoring that I know, um, they live a normal life. They're successful people, and I don't know why they don't give other people neural monitoring, but let's let them go ahead, and I'm gonna hear whatever they say later, I guess, on my video. They're just going on and on. I know that was you can tell the difference between artificial telepathy and real sound waves. You can tell the difference when you hear them. Sometimes it can be confusing a little bit. Like I'll be like, was that like I know that was real sound. Like it could be a little confusing sometimes, but the artificial telepathy is unmistakable. So if you don't know, then you're not experiencing it. And a lot of people are like, well, I'm like, well, do they taught you? And they're like, well, I don't know really. Like if they have, you definitely know. So I've had thousands of literally, I'm not joking, thousands of people from all around the world. They find my videos and my stuff all over the internet, and they contact me. And I've talked to 1,000 people about all of this stuff. So I have that as insight, and then I have my own personal experience where I've learned a lot about it. So um, I really wanted to let you guys know: don't listen to them. I mean, it's impossible to ignore, and that's one thing you'll hear a lot of. Just ignore it, but you can't. You can't. It's a broadcast straight directly to your mind on your neurological frequency, so you can't ignore it. You can't. It's impossible, but you have to disregard it with the things that they say because they have an intention. Their intention is to ruin your life and to get a good live stream, and so you can't buy into any of it. Anyway, I don't know if y'all ever heard of poi. This is called poi. All right, so I got some new ones that light up good. So I've been practicing on that. I got these guys from Flow on Fire on Etsy. They were kind of expensive, but they're really nice. They're like all the way pro grade, and I'm getting pretty good. These are my old ones from Ultra. They're called Ultra Poi, and I kind of built them and put these swivels on them, and so I was debating on whether to put swivels on my new ones or not, but I'm gonna just keep a pair of each. These the lights are broken. I gotta order some new lights, but with the swivels you can do that right there. So anyway, that's another thing they hate. They're like, stop doing poi, stop it. They hate anything that I do that because I mean, if you get really good at something, and you really kind of understand YouTube, or you're good at that, or whatever. You start putting things together. Like I can have a whole nother channel with a whole bunch of more subscribers and just keep doing more and more, and it draws people into the other ones and the whole thing. And I'm starting to have like a network of different channels and trying to work with different people and just to build this whole thing up. So I just keep on flowing one with the universe. Thank you all for watching, and um, yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna wrap this one up. So thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.